2.3, third verse, second chapter. Vidya Sharira Rasata. I think we're missing a line there, missing some letters in the PDF. Vidya Sharira Rasata. Mantra Rahasyam. Okay? So if you have this PDF at home, check it with the original. We're missing some letters in that line. And this translates as, the secret of mantra is the being of the body of wisdom, light, energy. The secret of mantra is the being of the body of wisdom, light, energy. What does that mean? Well, take it back again. Mantra arises from source and resolves back to source once again. The vibratory energy of source comes out. We call it a deity's body, but it's also mantric energy. Right? And after existing, like all things, it resolves back to source. But mantra actually has no karma. Mantra is actually unconditioned energy, which is a rare appearance in our life, unconditioned energy. Almost all the energies we experience are conditioned, right? If you tell me you don't like this lecture and you're bored, right, I get sad. You're bored, that's conditioned energy, because you're expecting something else and you're creating this energy of boredom. I'm sad because I expected you to be happy and I want you to be happy and now I'm sad. And I create that because, you disappointed me and I disappointed you. So this is the world of karmic energy. But mantra is not karmic energy. It's spontaneous arising energy. It's the mind in its purest state, you see? So, vidya sharira rasata mantra rahasyam. Rahasyam is the secret, right? What is the secret of mantra? It's being of the body of wisdom, light, energy. So mantra arises from source and resolves back to source without gaining karma. So when our minds are properly fused, this is the thing, we want that union, that yoga. When our minds are fused to the mantra correctly, not the idea that I'm making sounds like music, singing kirtan every day. Everybody thinks singing kirtan is mantra practice. It's definitely not. And people think blind repetition of something is mantra practice. That's definitely not mantra practice either. That's just numbing your brain, basically. Okay? That's relaxing, but that won't get you any power of mind or cities. So what is it? Well, when the mind is properly fused with mantra, and that means properly fused means uniting yourself, your mind, with the energy of the mantra as much as you can. That is the spontaneous, unconditioned energy of mantra, the deity's body. Okay? The mind resumes its form as source. Mantra will take us like a ride right back to source. It will take us right back to source. Right? But we have to ride that into subtlety. We have to become one with it and fuse with it and lose the sense of mantra as a sound. Lose the sense that we think of as mantra as something vibratory or as written words. People see words in their mind as they repeat mantra. That's not what you want to do either. Yeah? You want to get to the energy of it. And as you pierce the energy of that mantra itself, which arises from source and is source, your mind becomes one with it and your mind arrives at source. Progressively at first for a number of months or years, and then eventually arrives at source and learns how to be at source. Very huge part of the Indian Tantric Yoga tradition, a massive part. And when our Tantra went into Tibet in the form of Tantric Buddhism, the first school formed there, the Nyingmapa school, was also very much about this mantra. They really hold a lot of the mantras the same way because they got that from us, right? So we really appreciate this. And everybody who is a spiritual practitioner from the Eastern dynamic, they pretty much realize the power of sound this way as an external experience of the inner subtle vibration. So mantra is source, mind is source, that self-reflective mind is mantra, and this is the deity. Our tradition's lineage teaching on this is mantra emanates from Shiva source as the sentient nature of a spontaneous arising awareness being. That's a deity, a karma-free deity or projection of Shiva, whose sole purpose is to bring beings to recognition of their own true nature, to bring us to enlightenment out of suffering. That's what the deity is born to do. Spontaneously emanated from essence, the deities doing that for us. Whether we accept it or not is another story. The Guru is the same. The secret described above in this verse is that mantra is wisdom, light, body of the deity, a direct emanation of Shiva, and so is your mind once linked with that mantra. Your mind resumes its form as a karma-free emanation of Shiva or source. So now we have this scriptural understanding, this basis, from Chittang Mantraha all the way through that the mind is mantra to now seeing that, wow, the body, the secret is becoming the body of this mantra, this energy wisdom. We must recalibrate and resolve back into that consciousness of light as ourselves. Right? And the word body is used there. Right? Then we skip 4 and 5 because it's not so relevant. It's further expansion on these, and we're going to go to 2.6. Guru Rupayaha. Guru Rupayaha. The master is the method or the means. So the next verse says, well then how do we do this? The master is the method or the means. And this means making contact with essence is the method to attain everything that went before, that we just discussed. Making contact with essence is the method. So guru here is translated by all the commentators as essence, not as the person in this case. So guru rupayaha. But we know there's no separation between the guru and the essence. That's the whole point of having a guru. So our point of having the guru is to have a tangible point where we can contact essence in our daily experience as much as possible. Once we've had initiation, then we have our altar set up, and every day we light some incense, we do our practice, we do guru yoga, we combine with the essence of our guru, we see their picture and remember them. We're making that contact over and over and over. And what that's doing is what the first verse is described. Taking the mind, dissolving it, resolving it back into essence, but in the image and essence experience that we have with our guru. So essence is the means, essence is the method. We have to resolve our mind back into that. But then the physical guru is often the vehicle that we have for that. Most of us cannot resolve our essence directly. It's quite unusual. The Shakti-Shaiva Dharma scriptures always leave the possibility that someone can be spontaneously awakened directly. You have to have that possibility, because we are essence. It's just that it's so rare. But in a country like America, where everybody was raised for the X, Y, and now the Z generations on righteous entitlement, everybody thinks that they should be entitled to enlightenment without doing any effort, any work, and not needing to contact any guru to receive that transmission. So the amount of spontaneously arisen self-proclaimed gurus in America and Europe is on the rise. It's quite large. Past 50 years, it's quite a lot of people. So we're either in a super special golden age of spiritual revolution, which actually I think we're like in the opposite of that. We're kind of in the opposite direction, going for more and more materiality. Or people are quite deluded about this because people don't follow the traditions anymore. So, but people can spontaneously awaken to enlightenment. You usually need a guru to contact that essence. Highly recommended if you don't have the highest aptitude. So our lineage teaching on it is that our minds remember their own nature and take the course of returning to source when they're in the presence of or touched by grace. That grace is guru, source of mantra, deity, and mudra. So our guru we see in the tradition is, wow, the guru gives me the mantra, activated and potentized, coming from their own essence. They've already achieved the ability to have that mantra. And with that mantra ability they've achieved, they can potentize every other mantra. So I get that from them. Well, if I get that from them, they must be in contact with essence in a certain sense, be a focal point for essence in my life. Same thing with deity transmission. Same thing with mudra, right? Not physical mudras. Mudra here from the ancient tradition means being in the state of Shiva Shakti consciousness, okay? All right, that's 2.6. The master is the means, and the master here is essence itself. However we get that essence, usually through guru. 2.7. Matrika chakra sangbodhaha. Matrika chakra sangbodhaha. The awakening of the wheel of matrika. So it's not even the sentence really. The awakening of the wheel of matrika. Like so many of these pithy sayings and aphorisms in here of the Shiva Sutras, there's not even a sentence. Most of them aren't, right? The translation is the awakening of the wheel of matrika. What does that mean? What's the wheel? What's matrika? Matrika means like the mother Shakti in its various forms, its diversified nature, right? The phonemes of Sanskrit representing all the possibilities of the universe. And the wheel is the chakra, right? The multitude of that. So the rough translation is the yogin's awakened mind, when realized as the mantra then becomes realized as all manifested phenomena, the wheel of matrika. Again, when your mind is awakened as a yogini or a yogi, and your mind is realized as mantra, chittang mantraha, at that point, like we said, you realize the whole universe is this consciousness. When you realize the mantra, the mind as mantra, then all manifested phenomena are realized as that same essence source. Okay, now what's our tradition? So why about that? What's the big deal about that? Well, when the yogin realizes the mind as mantra, chittang mantraha, she then realizes all phenomena as a spontaneous manifestation of the glory of that essence source, and progressively becomes the master of that phenomena. Here we get to the mind powers now. If you recognize all that mantra energy as source energy, and your mind, chittang mantraha, has become that, do you not have dominion over external phenomena and internal phenomena? You do. Do you understand? Everybody with me? If your mind is mantra, and mantra is that energy of the universe, and you've become that, then the outflow, the wheel of manifestation, also is recognized as your own being. And just the same as you command your hand to move in a certain way, or your head or your body, you can command outer circumstances and inner reality as well. That's how yogins were great and powerful magicians, you could say. Able to do things that we weren't able to do without training. We should remember, though, these are innate powers. These are powers that are within us as Shiva consciousness, and you don't have to die and be a god or something, an angel, to have these magic powers. And I really don't even like to call them magic powers. I don't like to call them anything other than what they're called in the scriptures, which is attainments, siddhis. This is natural to us. And I have met many, many, many yogis in my travels in India who had these great siddhis. You know, if you want to see a really wonderful example of one, a group of Swedish scientists went down and tested a fella in Indonesia who could make fire. Just make fire. Go on YouTube and look for the fire yogi or the one who makes fire. There's some YouTube videos you might come up with where you see a fella sitting in fire. That's also quite extraordinary. Big bonfire and just sitting there. But that's another kind of siddhi. This fellow would just make fire. You know, he had a Chinese method for making this siddhi from his kung fu practice. So it's quite a good video to watch, because when they film him, he's always not wanting to be filmed. Then when they finally film him, he gets very upset that he showed off for it. He gets a dream from his teacher that he's made a big mistake being filmed and that he showed off, and he should never do it again, so he runs away. Anyway, all right. So when the yogin realizes the mind as mantra, chittang mantra, lots of spelling mistakes in this one. We're going to do another PDF edit version of this, correct everything, we'll put it back up. You can download that and keep that one as the good one. Just use this as a template for now. We'll fix it. So when the yogin realizes the mind as mantra, she then realizes all phenomena as the spontaneous manifestation of the glory of that essence source, and progressively she becomes the master of that phenomena, of that wheel of universal manifestation, which flows forth from their own mind. The mind as source, the mind as deity. Okay? 2.8. Shariram havihi. Shariram havihi. Another typo. The body is the oblation. What does that mean? The body is the oblation. The body is the offering. Oblation means an offering. Usually referred to in this tradition as when we make offerings into the sacrificial fire with mantras, you know, doing our ceremonies to get some powerful effect in the world. Like every full moon, we do it for healing, right? Helping people that died and so on. We do these ceremonies. When we do these offerings, they're called oblations in English, and then in Sanskrit, havihi. You know, havihi. A havan is a fire ceremony. Havihi is the ceremonial oblation into the havan, right? Okay, so understanding that. At one with mantra, the translation, at one with mantra, the body is now unlimited by karma, and it assumes the form of the divine body. So the body is the offering. It has a relationship here to fire and to the effulgent nature of the divine fire of a fire sacrifice. They're relating it to the divinity, because remember, a fire sacrifice, a deity is the fire in a fire ceremony. This is what's not mentioned in the translations that I've read. But if you practice this a lot, you know. The deity is the fire. You're offering food and so on in mantra, not into some just organic manifestation of some physics experiment with heat, but the deity showing up as fire. Now, if that deity's body at that form takes the form of the fire, that's obviously effulgent and luminous, right? It's a light body. So, at one with mantra, the body now. So we went from the mind and its energy, now we're in the body. At one with mantra, the body is now unlimited by karma, and it assumes the form of the divine body. What does that mean, divine body? If you have no karma left, you've entered what stage of view? Karmakshaya, which is stage 10. Karmakshaya stage 10, no more karma. But you still have a body. So many tantrikas believe with no more karma, you have to die. Many spiritual traditions that aren't tantric also believe you have no more karma, you have to leave the earth. This is the place of karma. Right? You'll even read this in Robert Swoboda's wonderful books, Agora 1, 2, and 3. In number 2, it's stated over and over again. If you have no karma, you got to leave your body. This is simply not true. The Mahasiddha tradition, a higher tradition, was developed where you can have karma-free manifestation of the physical body in the world. It's certainly not like anything we have sitting here now in the karma world, but we can live here. And our Mahasiddha masters have shown us, both women and men, over many, many centuries, that this is a reality. They become immortal, relatively immortal, and then eventually immortal. No normal death for them. Okay? This is what's referred to as a divine body. Extrapolated further, it's a light body. And that's why I say it's related to the effulgent light of the fire ceremony. So those of you who know the deeper aspects of this tradition, that our practices ultimately lead in those persons with the capacity and grace to the light body, the rainbow light body that you hear about in Tibetan practice so much. Same thing in the Indian tradition. This is a reference to that experience. So our tradition's teaching on it would be once the outflow of all apparent physical phenomena is recognized by the yogin as source mind, and she has realized her mind as the deity's mind, pure body of light, karma-free, she begins a process of complete karmic resolution, entering into stage 10, attaining the immortal body of light in varying degrees from stage 10 to 12 without experiencing physical death. This is one of the ancient Shaktashaiva Dharma scriptural references to the body of light. Okay? But I really want you to get hit with this. Chittang Mantraha is not just your brain, not just your thinking, not just your awareness. We are not talking in this tradition about being some disconnected meditator that walks around with a head that has some kind of conscious realization. And these sutras that talk about your body attaining the divine form are very real. And we can't just translate them all as some kind of metaphorical transcendental reality. Okay? 2.9, Jnanam Anam. Jnanam Anam. This yogin's food is knowledge. The food for a realized yogin is the supreme experience of ultimate reality. That's what this is really saying. What is the food of a yogin at this level, at stage 10? Well, they don't have to eat if they don't want to eat. We know that. They could eat for fun if they want to, right? Like Neem Karoli Baba or anybody else, these stage 9, 10 beings, you know, they could eat if they want or not eat if they don't want, whatever. So what is really food for them? They're living on pure source energy that they're coming from at that point, that they are. That's why when the body, if they don't dissolve into body of light and they just sit there and die, in that sense, the body doesn't decay. Right? We talked about Santa Ganeshwara, who we're going to see at the pilgrimage in India. Well, we won't see him, but we'll sit on the earth on top of where he's buried. He's been down there for about 1,000 years, and he was dug up about 150, 200 years ago when he sent a message to one of his disciples that a tree's root was growing around his neck and it was starting to interfere with his meditation. So they dug him up, cut the root off, buried him again. Right? So this is suspended animation. Don't have to die physically. He's just working on the practice on a very deep level that we can barely realize, right? Okay? Very interesting. So his food, he's not eating dirt or worms down there. You know, he's buried. He's just suspended animation. His food is being in source itself. So it's not like he has to eat anything. He's just, we can say, food here should be seen as what sustains him. Let's give the proper translation of this. He's not eating anything. Anam should be that which sustains. Right? Like Annapurna, the goddess of sustainment. She sustains us. How? Food. We can make her into a food goddess. So this scripture, Jnanam Anam, means wisdom, connection to essence itself, not even knowledge. Knowledge of your true nature means wisdom. Jnanam is wisdom. Wisdom is the sustainer. We're sustained. Our sustenance is our realization of our own essence. Okay? That's beautiful. By repeated reflexive awareness, the yogin attains the fullness of being, free of all craving, creating at will, and dissolving at will. So you attain the powers of the ultimate universe at that point as well. Our tradition's transmission instruction is This is considered the stage of the Vishwabhogi. Vishwabhogi. Here the yogin, Vishwa means all, everything, and Bhogi means enjoyer or consumer. Here the yogin is beyond definition of universal or individual and is operating as the agency of grace and the source of grace simultaneously. The conductor of grace and the source simultaneously. That's why it's great to go sit there and practice where Santa Ganeshwar is underground. I was told by some yogins in that area and Dr. Lad that where everybody thinks he's buried isn't quite where it is, it's over here. So I sat over here and boom, immediate. It's like sitting inside an elevator shaft taking you straight up to God. It's unbelievable. The vertical force there is amazing, the Shakti. So we'll go there. Stay tuned for our Indian yatras. They're coming up. So this is one of the ancient references to this experience of being all with one at the same time. So all because of Chittang Mantraha, this is possible for someone who reads the second chapter and has this level of capacity.